Now we created or completed at least the bare bones of our design, and we can figure out later on how we can make it far more nicer looking and more advanced, but however not important for now. We want to figure out at least now how we can continue on by systemizing and automating the Excel template or the invoice template, because that will be the most important part. So first of all, here your company, you should put in your logo. Here you can put in your street details and all your company details necessary. If you are, for example, you maybe have a company with multiple branches and you want to send it out based on the branch that you're using, you can do that with automating it. Probably later on I will show you something like that, but for now let's figure out this one here. Once you figure out how this works, you probably can figure out how you can do it for your own company if you have like 2 or 3 branches where you want to adjust the street name or the contact details here. Let's go and start here. Okay, so what are we going to do? First of all, we want to get here, we want to automatically get the name of the customer, the company name, address, and phone number. They are all in this part here. So what we need to do is we need to make a drop-down list where we can select the customer ID. And once we select the customer ID, it will show you immediately the information. Alright, to do that, I'm going to use this white space here. We're going to put in here the customer ID. So what we're going to do is, we're not going to type in equal. We're going to select this, and once we select this, we go to data, and we're going to make a data validation list. So select data validation. Select here, once you have the pop-up jumping out, the list, and you select here the source data. So where's the source data? Well, the source data will be on the second tab. So select this. You can see now we have the customer list here, and we can select these data here. Alright, so once we have this, we can confirm, and we say OK to confirm again. Alright, so now we have our values here. Wonderful. And what we want to do now is the invoicing form. We will leave that. But here we need to get the values from this here. However, it will depend on whatever customer ID we have selected. So in our case, we selected this customer ID, so we should see here John Doe. So what we want to do is here, we're going to use the Vlookup. We're going to use here Vlookup. And the Vlookup function will help you to find the matching number. So what is the Vlookup value? Well, let's select this here, or let's click up here the function formula builder. So with the formula builder, what is the Vlookup value? Well, this dynamic value here. Alright. What's the table array? Let's go to the customer list. You can see it jumps to customer list here. What is the table array? Well, this will be our table array. We'll just select all information here. And then what's the column index number? Well, the column index number is, what do we want? Well, we want the name of the customer. First name, last name. But we only can get one at a time. So we say here, if this is column index number, this is the first column, second column, third column, starting relative, remember relative from the table array, which was A2 in this case. Oh, sorry, I need to not do that, because I'm starting to click something. Sorry, alright, so let's redo that, because that was not good. Alright, so I would type in here Vlookup. We get this value here. Then we go here to the table array, which is this one here. Alright. So this is the column, comma, and then we say here column index number. So the column index number, let's go back here, is the second one. So where is the column index number? Basically, we have 1, and this is 2. So this is the second one to get the first name, and later on I will show you how you can get also the third name. Alright, we say here, number 2, range lookup would be true or false. 90% of the time you will use false, so we will use false because we want an exact match. Alright, so we confirm this. Done. Alright, so we have your John. So now you might wonder, how can we add John or his surname Doe? Or the last name. So let me show you exactly. We're going to do exactly the same Vlookup. Going to look for this, comma. We're going to use again all the same, or basically it's exactly the same formula. So I'm going to copy this formula here. And then, escape that. so you don't overrule this. So you use this. Here we put in the function formula, and remember on the second column index number we had number 2. Now the third one is for the third, which is the last name. It contains the last name. So we have here John Doe. Now you say, well, this is fun, but I want this all together. How can I get it in here? Well, for that we're going to concatenate them. Concatenation means adding together certain values. To show you, we'll just type in here. We say here concatenate. So doesn't want to select concatenate. Alright, so I've just fully typed that. And once we do concatenate, it will select here which text do we want to copy first. And that's this one. Secondly, which text do you want to copy? That one. However, this will not work 100%. I'll show you. Enter. Why? Because there's no space. So we need to make space. So what we do here is, we put in here another comma. And we say here a double quotation, space, double quotation, enter. So now we have John Doe. So this is exactly what we want. However, we don't want this as in a reference cell. But we want this. We want just this Vlookup formula. We copy this Vlookup formula, escape, go here, and we just put it in here. Nope, I pressed the wrong button. Let me do it one more time. Copy this here, go back here, adjust this one, and then we enter and see what happened. Now we have John Doe, this formula. Alright, so we're almost there. Copy this as well, except the equal sign. Escape, go here, paste it in here. There we are. Alright, so now we can cut basically this cell, put it in here, delete this, and there you are. Now we have John Doe. So what happened if we have number 2? We have Jane Doe. Or let's give Jane another name. Jane, I don't know, Reyes, whatever. I'm just making up stuff here. Alright, so you can see here now we have Jane Reyes and John Doe. Company name. We have here the company name, which is John Baking Company or Jane Company. For this, we use again the Vlookup. And if you're wondering, what about this here? What are we going to do with this? Well, I will show you later on what we will do, because we will hide this later on. So we have here the company name. This will be Vlookup. And then exactly the same here. That's the value. Table array. We're going to get this same table, comma, and then what we will say is the column index number. So alright, so we have to count. This is the last column that there is here. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is number 10. Alright, so column index number is number 10, comma, false. Confirm. Alright, so we got this and we got that one. That works nice. Same story here for the address. So the address, we can do exactly the same, and we can even concatenate it again. Or you can do them separate underneath, if whatever you prefer. So we say here, Vlookup. And if you want to do them all together, there's also another option here. It's basically this here. What we can do here is to simplify it without confusing ourselves with so many Vlookups. We would be able to do this. I'm just thinking that might make a bit more sense. We just concatenate. Let me show you here. We'll just concatenate here. So we say here equal concatenate. We just put them all together. Concatenate. Yeah, make sure you spell it correctly. And then we will select here street, comma, double quotation, space, double quotation, or the reason why we do that is because we must have space between the street name and the city, comma, city, comma, double quotation, space, double quotation, comma, zip code, comma, double quotation, space, double quotation, comma, the state, and there we are, enter. So now we have, this is our state, alright? So we can use this value eventually. So this is the full street, or full address. Maybe address is probably the correct name. Address, alright. We select this, I'll just give this a design as well. There we are. We have this matching here. Alright, so now we have these, so that would save some time as well. We say equal Vlookup, and now we have a Vlookup. What is the value? This is the value, comma. Go back here. We have to select here all of these new Vlookup values, comma, and then what's the column index? Remember, this was number 10, so this should be number 11. Enter. Alright, that works, and I forgot to put in the false, but it doesn't matter. It's by default it will become false. Same story here. Vlookup value equals this, comma. Go back here. We select all of these, comma, and then we need to look for the phone number. So if this is number 10, this should be number 9, and this is number 8. So it's a column number 8. I will just do it in false for the good order. There we are. Alright, so now we have everything. We can make this slightly bigger. Everything is fine here. So this is what we need, and we can adjust this here, and even if maybe you want that, you can even move this over to somewhere else outside of the screen or on another tab, which is also possible, so you will never touch or adjust anything on your invoice. Alright, here payable to, this should be your company, so I say your company, or and then here bank account, that's probably your bank account name, and here 123 123 whatever your bank account is. Alright, so we got this. Let's focus now on the core. This is really the core because this is the most important part. Here, what we need to do here is basically very similar to what we did here up. And that is to make a list based on whatever we select, and then we get the product name, and then we get the item here. So what is our product ID? This is the SKU. So this would be the number or ID. And then here, we will delete this. And then we say here, we select all of these and we make a new list here. Select the cells that you want to insert the list. We go to data, put in data validation here, select the list. Once we got this, then select this button here and look for the item here. So we select all of these stock keeping unit ID. Confirm this. Alright, confirm one more time. There we are. So now we have our items. There you go. And we can put in here the product name. So how we'll do that? Well, we look up, same story. So now this will auto-populate the entire values. So the comma, table array. We go here to the product list, we select here a table array, and this table array is luckily smaller, so it's easier to do. Comma, I say, okay, what is the value we want to extract? Well, we want to extract the product name. So we say here column index number, this is 1, this is number 2. So column index number, number 2. And then here we say false because we want the exact match. Enter. Confirm this. So once we did this, you would say, well, alright, now I can just drag this. No, you cannot. And the reason why you cannot drag this is because we didn't freeze the cells. So if you look here carefully, you can see here, this is fine. You see here A2 up to C6. That is correct. Oh, escape. And we do here, we see what happens. It's going down here. It goes from A3 up to C7. And then here, A4 up to C8 and etc. etc. So this doesn't work. So what can we do is we need to freeze them before we drag them. So we do dollar symbols in front of the column letter and the row number. Confirm this. Now we have them. Now we can drag this out here. Done. Alright. So we're almost done here because you probably can see the path for the remaining here. Well, very simple. What we can do is, as we look here, we have here the product price, that's what's important, and the quantity. Well, the quantity is the one you need to insert. Yeah, so let's say 2 items here, 2 items here, 2 items here. And then this should be price multiplied by unit price. However, there's nothing here, but let's make this first a dollars for a financial symbol. Alright, then the unit price here would be 100. That's what it is. However, we don't want this to be, and I'm just making it a nice design as well, we don't want this hard-coded. we want this to be a reference. And this is, of course, our Vlookup. In our Vlookup now, we have the same product ID or the SKU ID. And then we have the table array. So we go here, we're starting from this part here, getting the stock keeping unit. We have this, comma, and then we need the product price, which is the third column here, which is the column index number 3, and then we say false, confirm. Now we have this. So the large pan is $50. To make sure that we can drag this down, we need to make sure that we have dollar symbols here. Oh, and I'm almost deleting something here, so be careful. Dollar symbols, there you go. So now we have this, we can drag this down here, and there you are. So maybe this shouldn't be a KitchenAid, this should be number 5 for a bread cutting machine. Alright, that looks nice. So once we've got this, now we're almost done, because we can do now the final part, which is just a quick calculation. So we can say here, equal, and we say sum function, and then we select all of these items here. There you are. And then we have here the discount. So what would be the discount? Whatever you want to put in. Imagine they have a 5% discount or $50 or $100 discount for being a good customer. So to make sure we have all of this, we want to make sure that this is like that. All right. So how can we do this? Very simple. This minus that. All right. Now what we can do is the next one, which is the tax amount. So the tax amount will be the total or the adjusted amount and 12% from that amount here. So let's start and calculate this. It will be this multiplied by 12%. There you are. That will be $552. So the total balance will be this plus this. Alright. So here we can just highlight this. We highlight these as well, so that's more clear. And probably these as well. Alright, so these are more clear, so we have that more highlighted. And if you want to make this a bit more fancy, just maximize the size of this. Total balance. Well, this should be slightly smaller. Alright, that fits. So there we are. So now we have this here. And this looks very nice. And this is basically one of the parts. And what we can do is we can go even more advanced. And I want to go after this a bit more advanced. So let's make sure you have this first, save this, and then we will continue on.